So good morning. I thought we'd come at this just a little different this week. Instead of fill in the blanks, I wanted to send you a little video and say, Happy Monday, good morning. Is a great opportunity to get started on some of those things that we learned on Thursday night. Fresh week. It's like a fresh piece of paper. So, kind of going through, I asked Carol to let me read over her notes too. And I thought it was interesting that we kind of pulled out some of the same things, which is good. It means that we're working together. So the first thing I just kind of want to bring out again is what I brought out in our think tank time was marginal deception and how deadly that can be, both in our personal lives and in our professional lives. And so I've been praying over that this weekend and praying for you guys, and just want to encourage you to look for those places in your life where maybe it's not happening, but it could be possible to happen, and strategize about that. Talk to the Lord about that. How do we shore this up? How do I keep this out of my life? If it's out of your life, how do you keep it out? And if it's in your life, how do you get it out but retain that person? In other words, help that person grow. Help them to find that place of trust where they know that they can be honest with you and tell you everything. And so, sometimes that's some tough work that we have to do on ourselves. I used to call it a safe place. And so my goal was to be a safe place for people where literally they could come and tell me anything. Even with my children, when they were young, I would tell them, listen, if you do something wrong and I find out about it from someone else, you're in more trouble than if I find out about it from you. And that seemed to work really well. They also knew they were rambunctious boys, but I never really got angry with the things that they did. The only thing that really set me off was if they lied to me. And so we made that a big deal in our house, that lying was unacceptable. I'd love to say it never happened, but we're all human beings. And of course, they tried it and paid severe consequences for it. But it wasn't the severe consequences that stopped them from lying. It was becoming that safe place for them, that knowing they could tell me anything, we would work through it together. But it wasn't going to change the way I felt about them, the way I saw them as people, the way I loved them. So that was what made them safe, knowing that they could tell me anything and it wasn't going to move me. So I just want to encourage you on that. The other thing is, we've talked a lot about, you have to make leaders, and we do. But don't lose sight of, on the way to being a leader, a person is a doer. So you're training your people, you're training your direct reports, you're training your mentees, the people that come on board, how to lead by letting them do. So remember that, as it says, you're 5 and then you're training 5 and they're all training 5. But if everybody was leading, no work would be getting done, right? And so make sure that you're supervising the work. And in those teachable moments, like he said, you can pull up a rock like Jesus did, right? Pull up a rock with them. If they've done something right, tell them, because they need to know that. And if they've done something wrong, coach them. It's always, I've found in my life, it's better to not tell them what they did wrong, but use what we call cognitive training, which is to ask those questions to flush out the answer. 9 times out of 10, they already know what they did wrong, and if you keep working them this way, they'll come in and say, okay, this is what I did wrong. This is what I'll do next time, blah, blah, blah. And then you work through those answers. But you may have those people that struggle. They struggle with, it's pride issues, it's insecurity issues, but they struggle with admitting they're wrong. And so you have to pull them gently. But pull them, because if you can get a person to break free from that, you've really set them on a path of a whole life lived with a whole heart, because they're not in shame, they're not in worry, they're not in concern, they're living free of it, knowing that they're going to make mistakes and it's going to be okay. So that's a big thing to remember, that as you're creating and developing and raising leaders, you're doing it through the work, because obviously the work still has to get done. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you this morning, and just kind of pull out a little bit, is add value. We as Christians, everywhere we go, we're bringing him with us, and he is the author of wisdom and knowledge and creativity and witty ideas. So know that everywhere you go, you're already bringing value to that situation, but add value. Look for those things that aren't getting done and ask the Lord, how can we do that better? How can we do that? How do we execute this? Because He'll tell you. Because if you're seeing it and you're noticing it, He's showing it to you. It's probably Him pointing it out to you. And just be bold and be brave and step into it knowing that the God of all creation is with you and that you and Him together, there's nothing you can't do. So look for those areas to add value this week. And when we get together, we'll toss a little bit of this around and see what opportunities God opened up for you. So again, marginal deception, eradicate it, right? Raising leaders through work, letting them do the work and letting them come to you with their ideas, with their mistakes, with their victories, and celebrating those with them. And then those places to add value. Where can we fine tune this? Where can we make this better? Just a few ideas to think of, again, on this motivational Monday. Let's get it. Let's get it done and let's glorify the King. All right. Love you guys. See you Thursday night.